Shalom, everybody. I am Ron Cantor. I'm here in Virginia, going back to Israel next week and getting over COVID. Yes, last week I got to my father is in a rehab facility, not a drug or alcohol. It's his legs. He was in the hospital in early July for a leg condition, and when he was ready to go, because he had been in bed for over a week, he needed to go to a rehab facility to get his legs back. And when I got there last week, I think it was on Tuesday last week, they were testing him for COVID. He had been sniffling for a few days, and then they shut down the whole place because apparently it spread throughout the whole place, and I've been spending quite a bit of time there. First thing I did is I went and bought 2 tests. I tested my mom first because she had been coming with me once a day to visit him. And she was already had a scratchy throat and was coughing a little bit, and she tested positive. But I felt fine, and I tested negative. And then about a day and a half later, I woke up at 1 a.m. and I knew that I probably had it. So you can hear my voice that I'm getting over it. It was, in terms of symptoms, it was just like a cold. And we're all good now. Dad is great. Mom is much better. My sister, who also tested positive, had virtually no symptoms. She's good. I want to just talk to you briefly today about what's happening in Israel. If you're watching the news, you know that we have been in this really horrible, torturous wait and see situation with Iran a few weeks ago now. We assume it was Israel. Israel has not claimed responsibility, but a bomb was placed inside the apartment of Ismail Hania, who was the political leader of Hamas. And I've already explained that political leader means nothing. That's just a word. It means he doesn't live in Gaza anymore. He used to, but he left. He was living in Qatar. I never know. Is it Qatar or Qatar? I'm told it's Qatar. Anyways, he lives there or lived there, and he lived as a billionaire. He's worth $4.5 billion. That's with a B. He got rich off of stealing money from his own people, and yet that didn't seem to bother folks. He was still the political leader. So he was killed 10 days ago, a little bit more. I can't remember the exact date. The Iranians, not the Israelis, but the Iranian collaborators in the Iranian Republican Guard planted an explosive device. Probably, we were behind it in terms of planning it, but they planted the device and exploded. He died. And so now because we killed a terrorist, a really bad guy who has the blood of a lot of Israelis on his hands, not to mention a lot of Palestinians on his hands, because we took out a really bad guy and we did it on their territory, and we embarrassed them by using their own elite Republican guards. They want to now kill innocent civilians in Israel. So we expected it a week ago. It never came. Then we thought today is Tish B'Av, which means the 9th of Av. Av is a month in the Hebrew calendar. This day, the 9th of Av, is the anniversary of, and I'm recording this on Tuesday. You'll probably get it tomorrow. But it is the anniversary of the destruction of the temple. Let me say it again. If you get it by email, it'll be tomorrow, but we'll post this online today. But it's the anniversary of the destruction of both the first and the second temple on the same day. And if you got our email yesterday, a lot of other horrible atrocities just happen on this day. So we thought that Iran would use that. Last night, I had a great phone call at 11 p.m. Israel time with all of my family, 2 of us here in Richmond, 1 daughter in New York, 1 daughter in Tel Aviv, a wife in Ashkelon, and we were able to be together and chat because we thought that there was going to be an attack last night. It didn't happen. Now we're hearing conflicting reports that Iran is saying if there is an agreement reached on Thursday. What's Thursday? Thursday is the day that the resumption of the ceasefire talks are supposed to take place. Now, Hamas says that they're not going to come. So Iran, if you're listening, Ayatollah Khomeini, if you're listening, I know you're a big fan. So if you're listening, how can we have an agreement if Hamas doesn't show up? So you might want to tell them, since they do work for you. I mean, you fund them. So tell them they need to show up. So there's supposed to be a meeting on Thursday between the Egyptians, the Qataris, and then I guess in separate rooms so they don't have to actually see each other, the Israelis and Hamas representatives. Hopefully that happens. Now, all joking aside, we're coming up on 1 year, people. 1 year of people dying. People of Gaza dying, people of Israel dying, of our people being hostages in Gaza, underground, in horrendous conditions. We need to end this. When we initially went to war on October 7th, nobody dreamed it would last a year. I mean, Gaza is a very small area. We won the 6-day war. It's not a trick question. In 6 days. That's how it got its name. We defeated Egypt, Syria, Jordan in 6 days. We were able to and by the way, we were only at war because they were about to attack us. They had pledged to kill us, to fill the Mediterranean with their blood, the sands of the desert with their blood. They like to wax eloquent with what they're going to do with our blood. And so we knew we were about to be attacked, so we launched a preemptive strike on June 5th, 1967, and in 6 days, we took the entire Sinai Desert. Go look at your map. That's like 3 or 4 times as big as Israel. 6 days, we took it. We took all of the West Bank and Jerusalem and the Golan Heights in the north. We took all that in 6 days. Now, here we are, almost a year into this war, and we have not finished. We have not defeated Hamas, and it's very different. You might say, well, Ron, why is that? It's very simple. Because the war we're fighting is an insurgency war. They don't dress in Hamas uniforms. They dress like everybody else. They embed themselves like ISIS. They use people, they use women, they use children as human shields, and they hang out with them. They have their operations are in schools, and they'll make sure that there are innocent people in those schools. So they use their people to protect them. It's a much more difficult war to fight. And as our intelligence sorry, I'm still on the tail end of COVID. Intelligence agencies have said, and as our army has said, the IDF, is that you cannot destroy Hamas. I mean, unless you're going to kill, 1 billion people, because it's an ideology and new recruits are made every day. I'm not saying that we can't significantly hurt them, and I'm not saying that we can't control. It never should have happened. October the 7th happened because of us, because we let our guard down. Because we didn't listen to the warnings. We didn't listen to the intelligence. Nobody's arguing that. It was the greatest intelligence failure in the history of Israel. But if except for that, it never would have happened. We could have stopped it. And if we are vigilant, we can stop it. Again, it's not advantageous for us to eternally be inside of Gaza. It puts our soldiers at risk. It puts innocent people in Gaza at risk. We need to find a way to get our people home. We got to get our people home. And I believe that is the view of most Israelis at this time. But I don't have a recent poll in front of me. God knows. God knows. What I pray over these situations is, God, let your will be done. Let your will be done. I'm not a politician, and I don't have the mind of God on every situation, but my heart is breaking for our hostages. My heart is breaking for our soldiers who it's 100 degrees, and they have to often have 40 pounds of equipment on them. It's grueling, and it's emotionally exhausting. There's going to be such need for counseling and, to treat the PTSD for our soldiers when they finally are able to go home in this war. So I'm asking you to pray into this. But in the meantime, I also want to ask you to keep supporting them. We are continuing to work with soldiers. I got a great report this week from one of, I don't want to say his name, but one of our supporters who contacted me. And he said because of the work that we've been doing, he got inspired, and he has a relative in Israel and was able to make contact. He didn't think there would really be anything for them to do, but there was a need for a unit that his relatives are close to, $5,000 to purchase some equipment. Again, when we say equipment, we don't mean, because this was used against me. We're not purchasing weapons. We purchase things like in the winter, we are purchasing jackets. We purchased sleeping bags, underwear, socks, tactical shirts, things that, but we don't purchase weapons. And we don't just work with the military, we work with the evacuees. Tens of thousands of people were evacuated from their homes on October the 7th. Many of whom have not gone back. In the north, 80,000. Can you imagine? 80,000 Israelis have been evacuated from their homes, and they have not been back in almost a year now because of the constant barrage of Hezbollah. So we're on a multi-front war with Hezbollah in the north, Hamas in the south, the Houthis in Yemen, which are far away, but they just killed somebody in Tel Aviv with a drone, and they regularly send bombs our ways. They're bombing ships in the Red Sea, and then we've got now Iran. Don't forget there are insurgents in Syria and Iraq as well that work with Iran that have been doing stuff. So this is crazy. And Israel has the firepower to defend itself. If I understand the concern that people have when innocent people die in war, no matter what country or what entity they're a part of. But we're being attacked from Lebanon, and we've done almost nothing in response. We have the firepower to protect ourselves. Iran knows we have the firepower to protect ourselves. They know that when they sent 300 missiles and drones against us, that we took them all down, 99% of them, and that we just sent one back. And not only did it get through their Russian-made missile defense system, it destroyed that one specific missile defense system battery. In other words, it not only did not detect it and not try and shoot down our guy, but our guy killed their guy. And by guy, I mean equipment. Anyways, I just want to encourage you to continue to support us so that we can continue to stand with those who have lost their homes, those who, we work with a hospital. We just sent $25,000, $26,000 to our hospital in Ashkelon. This probably any day now, they're going to be inaugurating. And you helped huge with this. It was a $10 million facility, but our donors have invested over $100,000 in a bomb-proof neonatal care facility. That means when little precious, sweet little babies are born premature and they only weigh about 2 or 3 pounds, and you can't, and when a bomb is coming in, you cannot rush them. You can't just, it's not like me. I can run when the sirens go off and I'm in my house. I have 20 seconds, 30 seconds to run to my safe room. You cannot do that with a premature baby. You just have to hope and pray. And so they 3 or 4 years ago, they started working on this facility where the entire facility would be bomb-proofed, and they would never have to even try and move these precious little babies, that they would be protected, being finished this summer. Hallelujah. And thanks to you guys, as well as many other organizations around the world. So that's what we've been doing for the past year. Anything we can do to help. Our mainstay, the main thing that we do is we continue to broadcast on Shalano TV. We continue to get, and if you don't know what that is, Shalano, it means ours. What we're saying to the people of Israel, that Yeshua, hu achad me'itanu, he's one of us. He came from us. And so through Shalano, we're able to share in Hebrew testimonies, music videos, messages, teaching, interviews, all with the goal of bringing the good news of Yeshua to the people of Israel. And I'm not going to lie to you and say that people are breaking down our doors, coming to faith. We know that there's going to be a revival in Israel in the end times, and we're seeing more Jewish people come to faith in Yeshua than ever before in history, but it's slow. It's difficult. It's a ministry that we must be committed to every single day, but we are getting testimonies. Every month, people ask for New Testaments in Hebrew. Every month, people ask for my book, Identity Theft, which is called Israel's Rejected Son in Hebrew. I wrote the whole book from scratch. We wrote it back in 2012, I think. And then when we realized that Jewish people were, I wrote it for believers. When I was told that a guy in our congregation, Arik, came up to me one day and he said, "Do you know that this book, Identity Theft, is the best tool for Jewish outreach?" I was like, "What are you talking about? I wrote that for Christians." I did know of one other person who came to faith, partly because of the book, Michelle, a friend of mine who lives in America, but Israeli. But I didn't think of using it as an outreach book. And he said to me, that he had been giving away, and that, so I said, you know what, we're going to rewrite it. I went, checked in a hotel, and I rewrote the entire book. I changed the protagonist from a American Jewish guy to an Israeli, and then we had it printed in Hebrew, and we give away probably 20 or 30 of those a month. So stand with Shalanu TV. We have a small, stealthy team, but again, every day, 24/7, the good news is going forth in Hebrew. And we don't just air our own videos. We don't just air videos that we create, although we have a great production team, but we work with other ministries around Israel who are making really high quality, excellent evangelistic tools. And we put them on our site. We put them on our channel. And we also put a lot of these videos on social media and purchase ads, make sure that they're shown in Israel so Israelis see them. So that's what you're doing. That is what you're doing in Israel. So, if you're watching this on Wednesday is the day that we send out our fundraiser. We don't send out fundraisers. We send out 4 emails a week, and one of them is a fundraiser because we can't do what we do without you. You're a big part of it. That we're, your hands and feet in Israel. And particularly right now, because of the situation, not a lot of tourists coming. We had to cancel 3 tours this year. It breaks my heart. I love, and Ilana loves it. It's like one of our favorite things in the world to do is to lead a tour. We love to teach on the tour. We love to get to know new people, to show them our country, to eat our food, to dance, to laugh, to cry. It's just so much fun, and you can't do it right now. It's, because of the situation. And for those of you who want to come, who you would like to be there, we're trying to do what we can, in proxy for you. Okay, well, God bless you guys. I'm still this is probably the best I felt in a while, but I'm still a little bit weak. So I'm going to go now. And if you wouldn't mind praying for me, my parents, my sister, although she didn't have any symptoms, not fair, but no, I'm happy for her. But pray that all of our symptoms would be gone within the next 24 hours. We're virtually there. Love you guys so much. We appreciate you. Again, we could not do what we do without you. In fact, I'd like to say it differently, is this is really what you're doing. This is your ministry. God bless you. Thank you for blessing Israel.